Hello everyone, my name is Vikas and this is another session from Tutorials Diary. In this session, we'll talk about the function calls in the Solidity. So we always see a requirement in a Solidity where we have to call a function which is defined in one smart contract from another smart contract. So this is a very generic scenario which we used to face in the Solidity, as there are multiple smart contract deployed and there is always a need to call a function which is defined in one smart contract from another smart contract. So we'll talk about the same thing in this session and we'll show you that how you can achieve in the Solidity. So this is a question which we are trying to solve here, how a function in another contract can be called from contract. So you can take any example. So you can assume that you have a contract A where you have a function defined. You can have more than one function defined, and you have a contract B. Now you have a requirement to call a function F1 from contract B, which is being defined like contract A. So this is very basic scenario which we'll try to see it here in this session, which we'll try to show you with some sample code. Also in this session we'll show you that how you can achieve the function call and what all different methods we have. So this function call is no different from another programming language which we used to have like Java, .NET, C, C++, and other thing. But there is a difference which we have in Solidity, which we'll talk about, and which method you should use and when and why it should be used. So this will be all discussed in this session. So first of all, we'll show you some theory part, we'll explain you some concept, and then we'll move to the hands-on. So the very first thing which we're trying to show you here, that okay, function can be called by three ways. So the first option you can see without using a new keyword, and second is using the address, and third is using a call function. So we'll discuss about all these three things one by one in the detail, and we'll explain you that when each option can be used and what limitation we have for each option. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the very first option with a new keyword. So what happened here? So you have a contract B. Like if you just see here, you have a contract member. So in the member contract, you have defined function, right? You have two functions defined, set age and get age. In the set age, you are trying to set the age of the member, and in the get age you will return the age which you have set in the set function. So this is our member smart contract which we have defined. Now we have one more contract, teacher. What we'll do in this teacher contract, we have a function defined set in this one, and what we're doing here, we are creating an instance of member smart contract. So with the help of this new keyword, if you can see, member m is equal to new member. So here what you will do, you will call m.setAge, which is a function which you have in the member smart contract, and you can pass the input values here. This is option number one which we have. Now the problem here with this option is that here you can see you're creating the instance of member smart contract at runtime. So this will have a different address. So suppose you have deployed the member smart contract on the blockchain, so that will get deployed on some address, as we all aware. So let's suppose it is get deployed on the address 1. So when you call this member smart contract from the teacher contract down below with a new keyword, it is creating a new instance of this member, so that will have a separate address, not the address which is being used when we have deployed the member on the blockchain. So this is the one thing which you have to consider when using this option. So this is the reason we don't recommend to go with this option, because this will have some random address generated at runtime instead of assigning from your side. So we'll see more on this in the hands-on. And the second option is that we will define call the function using the address. So member contract remains same. In the teacher contract, what we have done, instead of using a new keyword, what we are doing, we are getting a address. So as I just mentioned before, when you deploy the member smart contract on a blockchain, you will get the address in return. It will get deployed on some address, right? So what you will do in the teacher's contract, you will pass that address. You will tell this teacher contract that, okay, I want to access a contract which is deployed on this address, and that address will have this function set age, right? So this is the difference we have between the first option and second option. In the first option, you're using a new keyword and that will have a different address, but in this one you're reusing the address which you have when you deploy a member smart contract. Okay. And third option is the call option, which is we don't recommend, and this is going to be removed in the future releases of this Solidity, but you still can know. It will be good to know that okay, this is one more option which you have in the Solidity to call another function. So in this case, you can see here. So again, you need the address for the smart contract, but remember this is the least preferred option. This should not go. You should not go with this option. Okay, you should go with the second option mainly. So you can see here we're using a required. Required is equivalent to your if condition. Okay, and here you can see we are calling a call function. So this is the syntax of the call function. It accepts the bytes 4. This is SHA3 is replaced with this keyword. Okay, then this is a function which we're going to call set age, and this is going to unsigned integer 256, and this is a value which we pass. So this is syntax which we have. Address dot call bytes 4 will always remain bytes 4, and this keyword will remain same. Here you will define a function which you want to call. F, you can replace function F with a function name. Data type, that what kind of data type that function accept. It is a string or unsigned integer or bool or something else, and the value of the data type. If you have more than one data type, like data type 1 and 2, you can have a comma here, value 1 comma value 2. So this is how it can be used. Okay, so this is how you can call a function from one smart contract to another smart contract. Now let's go and jump to the sample. Let's see that how this can be achieved and what step you have to follow in the Remix IDE. So what I will do, I will just go to Remix IDE, and first of all we'll create a new contract here, and let me give some name here. I would say function call sample. So we'll start like this way: pragma Solidity. As we generally start, the version of your Solidity, I'm going to use 2.0. Now I will define a contract with a member. So this member will have a unsigned integer age, and we'll have a function here defined which is setting the set age. So this accept the input as unsigned integer. This is going to be public function, and this I'm going to set the age to age, right? So this is a function which we have defined that will set the age here. Now we're going to create one more function which get the age here, that will provide me returns. It will give me back age. So this is very basic smart contract which we have, so it should be view, right? So this is very basic. Now I want to access these two functions from another smart contract. So I'm going to create a teacher contract here. Okay, let's suppose I'm going to create a function here that will say set function. Now let me make it public, and this will not return anything. Now there are different ways. Let's go all these ways one by one. Okay, so the very first option is the new keyword. Okay, what you will do here, you will create a member instance with the help of new. Okay, then you can say set age, you can pass a value. Now let's test this one. Let's see how it will behave and what issue we have with this approach. Let me show you the drawback here, which I was talking about in the PPT. So when you deploy, first of all you have to compile. You have to make sure that there is no issue or warning. Both are green. Let's move to deployment. So first of all, you will deploy the member smart contract. You can say deployed. Okay, it got deployed successfully. There is no issue. Now you can set the age like 23. You can set, and then you can get the age 23. This is all working fine. Now what you will do, you will deploy teacher contract as well. Now, So this member is currently running on this address. Let me copy this address and show you here. As you can see, this my smart contract, my member smart contract is currently running on this address, right? So now what happened that, right, with this approach which is using a new keyword, whenever I set some value here, right, when I call this function here, so what we expect that this member should be called and the value should be set to 10 instead of 23, right? Let's click on this one, set. So we have called this function, the age is set to 10. Now when you try to call this get age, it is still 23. That means this call which we have made, set call, it is not being transferred to this address, because what happened that this line has created a new instance of member with a new address, right? So this is not being reflected here because this is currently running on this address. This is the option number 1. Now the option number 2 which you were talking about, you will remove this one. What you will do, you will create a member here. Instead of new keyword, you will use this address. Now you will pass this address at runtime. You will tell that, okay, I want to create an instance of the member contract which is on this address. Now you can call set age 14th. So now if you deploy this again, let me remove this one, teacher, deploy again. Now we already know the address of this member smart contract which is deployed. So what you will do, you will pass this as an input. Okay, you click on the set link here. So what it has done, it has called this member smart contract which is deployed on this address and set the age to 14, which we have hard coded. Now if you try to get this age, you should see the 14 instead of 23. Let's click on this one. Now you can see it is 14, it is being changed. So this is the difference between the first option and the second option. Okay. The third option which we were talking about, let me show you here. So you have to use required keyword, you have to use this address, you have to use this call, you have to use this bytes for, then inside this one you have to use, one second, this, then inside this one you have to call the function which is your set age, and that is accepting unsigned integer, right? So this is, let me see here, okay, let me set it 13. Okay, maybe I have done it wrong, let me see. Okay, now so if you can just see the syntax is matching, you are calling the address dot call, this is syntax bytes for, this is to generate a hash of from this one, this is the function name and the input parameter and the value of the input 13. Now let's deploy this change as the teacher contract, deploy, and I will close the earlier one. Now what you will do, the same thing, you will pass the address here, and now this should change the age to 13. Click on set. Now you can see here there is some issue. Okay, so constructor should be payable. So this is generic error which we used to have whenever we call this one. Okay, so this says that you have to set this gas. Okay, you can just ignore this. Maybe why we have this issue. Okay, if you don't use this required, let me remove this required for now. If you don't use this one, let me show you again. This is an example to show you the error. So when you deploy this one, now you will take the address from this one, you will pass this address here, you will not see any issue, right? You will not see any issue. Why? Because this call function does not throw any error in case it is unsuccessful. It will only return true or false. If you just go and check the age, this is still 14. That means this function didn't work. So this is the reason we used to put the required keyword here, so that in case it got failed, we should have the error and it should reward the state. So let's go back and check this one. So now you can just go and put the address here, so you should get the same issue. So this is the issue which you are getting right now, right? So what you can do, you can assign the gas here. Okay, you can assign the gas here, and that should enable this one. If you assign this gas, let's suppose 20317, then it will work. So this is the third option which you have, and that you can use to call another smart contract. But this option we never ever recommend. Please do not go for this option. Always go with the option number 2. Okay, and not option number 2, then you can go with the option number 1. But don't go for the option number 3, which we're talking about here. We're just trying to show you here that this is the option which we have, but this will be going to be removed from the Solidity soon in the future. So I hope that you like this video, and this is helpful for you to understand how you can call the function inside the smart contract. And thanks for watching.